excellent to each other, and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing Blue-Black Nethergoyf Tempo. That's right, we've got Nethergoyf in the house, and he's going to really kick some butt, hopefully, along with his pal, Murktide. And they do not like each other because they have to share a graveyard. Murktide is trying to eat as much out of the graveyard as possible so he can be cast as inexpensively as possible, and Nethergoyf needs all those yummy things in the graveyard so that he could be buff and so that he can potentially even reincarnate himself. Let's take a look at the other creatures in the deck. We've got 2 Orcish Bowmasters because they're awesome, and I'm experimenting with playing these main deck because I've seen a lot of other people playing main deck, and I'm like, the best answer to an Orcish Bowmaster is an Orcish Bowmaster, and I do not want your Orcish Bowmaster locking me down. So hopefully Orcish Bowmaster can bring the law. Psychic Frog, because it's broken and it's going to get banned. We're playing just 2 Tameo. Sadly, that's all I could fit in here with these other aggressive creatures, but she is solid. Don't interpret this as me abandoning you, Tameo. And, of course, we've got double Brazen Borrower because it's just like a really flexible card. All right, let's take a look at the spells. So we've got the full 4 days, the full 4 Wastelands, and I do consider Wasteland to be a spell. We also have some main deck graveyard hate, Nile Spellbomb. We got 2 of those, and we've got a Mishra's Bauble. This is just a 3rd artifact that can feed the feed the Nethergoyf. And we also have a Thoughtseize, which is a 5th sorcery that can also feed the Nethergoyf. We have 4 Fatal Pushes. We have a single Dismember, which is pretty good right now, actually, because a lot of people are playing Troll of Khazad-dûm. He's back, and he's very dismemberable. All right, let's take a look at the sideboard. So this is for the Eldrazi matchup. We've got 2 Harbinger, 3 Consigns. This is for the Reanimator matchup. We've got this sweet-looking old Western unlicensed Hearst. I can just imagine some Undertaker like cruising through the main street with one unlicensed Hearst, and a sheriff is chasing after him, firing his pistol into the air. We've got Surgical Extraction, and we've got a Shield's Edict to take down the big bads that come out of their reanimation effects should they hit the table. For the Painter matchup, which is the 3rd top deck, we have 2 Hydroblasts and a Null Rod, and we can potentially bring in Engineered Explosives and maybe even Toxic Deluge in that matchup. But Toxic Deluge is more for the green creature, white creature matchups. Very strong card. And then we've got 2 Force of Negations just in case we run into somebody playing something crazy like Sneak and Show. That would never happen to us, of course. All right, let's jump in. We're going to play the full 5 rounds. As always, I encourage you to leave a comment if you notice me do anything that's suboptimal, or if you just have a question about a decision I made. I will never shoot the messenger. I always appreciate any feedback you have on my piloting, and I'll see you in round 1. All right, we are on the play with a pretty solid hand. We've got lots of blue cards. I think we just fetched the island here. We're up against likely Beanstalk, but it's been a month or so since my opponent last had a legacy finish. Yeah, it kind of sucks that we don't have a way to find a second land, but with this Daze, I'm hoping that Daze finds a home. And I'm not going to put back, a hand with double Psychic Frog. It's just too good right now because it's like they have to have an answer to both of those. All right, Ancient Tomb into It That Heralds the End. I think I'm just going to counter this. I don't really want to deal with it, and I don't have anything else going on. Like, basically, I've got a free land drop next turn. All right, let's hope we can find a land, because I would love to pitch Murktide, and then I think it's probably actually fine to flip her. We're not going to get a perfect Brainstorm, but flipping her is good. These tokens aren't going to, these clues aren't going to do us a lot of good right now. Oh no, not like this. Well, we do get another Brainstorm. So I'm going to put back these 2 Psychic Frogs. Yeah, she's going to flip. And our opponent doesn't know we're Hellbent, or that we're Brainstorm locked yet. They can find that out next turn. But I'll force pretty much anything they put on the stack, especially if it's a Thought-Knot Seer. I don't want to give up any of my cards. The One Ring, no thank you. Now I'm kind of thinking maybe we keep the Murktide around, because we're going to draw a Psychic Frog, and Murktide is going to be pretty swole. Definitely hasn't been skipping leg day. Well, actually, maybe he has. Definitely hasn't been skipping chest day. Let's put it that way. All right. So we've stopped 2 cards, and I think at this point it is correct to go up with Tamiyo. We could brainstorm and hope to spike something good. If we spike a second land, then Murktide is possible next turn. So we know that we have a Psychic Frog on top and we got 3 fresh ones and we haven't made a land drop. I'm going to go for it. All right, we got there. That's great. So what I'll do is, like, all these are good cards. I definitely don't want to pitch the Murktide. I'll leave Murktide on top just in case something goes catastrophically wrong here. And we could go ahead. No, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to hold it up. In fact, I could have just held it for next turn. There was no reason to play it out there. Yeah, that was a bad play. Because now they can wasteland potentially. Or they can, you know, if they find a green source, they can potentially hit us with Kicker. They probably need 2 cards to do that. Okay, so here's Eldrazi Temple. They're not doing anything. Interesting. They may have given up. Or they could have like instant speed Kozilek's Command. But can Kozilek's Command, can it get rid of these? So I'm going to plus here. Then I'm just going to make a big fat Murktide that they have to deal with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 7/7. It'll kill them in 2 hits. And I'm also going to draw my deck next turn. All right, we got motion. This is a Kozilek's Command. They're not going to like this. Chosen mode, scry and create spawn tokens. Well, I'll just force that. I don't want them to be able to do any of this stuff. I'm going to keep the frog for next turn in case I still have a land. Frog will also help me kill them. All right, and yeah, worst case scenario, if they strip this somehow, we do have the clue token. So I feel like being on the play was very strong here. They have to get rid of both of these, basically. And they can get rid of this turn and then get rid of the other one the next turn. They can exile our lands, but that doesn't actually save them from death here. Because I can just draw a lot more lands. This is a... They're kicking it. Yeah, I mean, that does something. It gets rid of my land, but I can just attack you with Murktide. In fact, I don't even have to ultimate her. I can just minus and then attack for lethal here. Unless I'm missing something. Unless they have something. They're probably going to waste me, I imagine, here. I'm trying to think of how I get punished for going with the Murktide. I imagine they're going to waste me here. Yeah, they waste me with the Sowing Micah Spawn still on the stack just to flex. Like, my creature hasn't even resolved yet, and I've already wiped your mana base. Who would have thought they'd put a one-sided Armageddon on as a cast trigger? All right. I will stop complaining, and I will start winning. So I'm just going to minus here. I'll get my force back. And wait. Yeah, okay, that's growing. I was like, where's my trigger? I just overlooked it because I'm an old man. All right, let's attack. They've conceded. All right, cool. So yeah, like clean win against Eldrazi. We like those because heaven knows, like, they're hard to come by. All right, so we've got our Eldrazi board. I wish you could like get it to stay in. Like, I love having my cards sorted by piles, as you can probably tell. I love just having everything sorted out like by type rather than by casting cost. You don't get the ability to sort by type here. You can sort by rarity, but whoever does that, or product type, I'm not sure why you would do that. But you can't sort. Oh, you can sort by mana value, but that's not useful when you've got like Murktides and stuff in your deck. Anyway, I will stop my tirade and I will get back to the game. So I think Harbinger is good here. Deluge, I mean, we're never going to get to that much mana. Realistically. Cards we can take out. Daze is pretty bad on the draw against the big mana deck. I would probably take those out. Bowmasters is pretty terrible. Doesn't really do anything. We could put a force negation back in. I mean, like, for a deck that has 0 selection, like, it seems like they always have at least 1 or 2 Kozilek's Commands. But they shouldn't, theoretically. They should get lots of hands that don't have those. Fatal Push is pretty mediocre here. Tamiyo was pretty damn good there. I mean, she didn't actually do anything, really. she did not do a damn thing. Like, I never used the clue. I never did anything with it. But she looked impressive. It was the Murktide that took us home. Okay, so I mean, she gave me the extra point of damage I needed to win immediately. So sorry, Tamio. I don't mean to be too harsh. I think we could keep a Daze in. No, I'll bring a Force of Negation in, because I do want to be able to stop Chalice if they have Chalice. That's really the only thing in their deck that we need to stop, other than creatures. I think a Daze is better, just because we might be able to surprise them. All right, let's do it. Murktide, predictably good against Eldrazi. Like, I created a video yesterday, if you watch my channel, where I was playing Murktide and I was playing Plow, and it was like, this is the anti-meta deck. And we did okay, but I mean, this is pretty good. Dismember, if we find our second land off this Brainstorm, we got a Psychic Frog. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to hope they don't Chalice, because I will have to counter Chalice. Do I have to counter Chalice? I could just keep this Brainstorm in hand, but I'm worried that if I don't counter Chalice, bad things are going to happen. This is probably the most consequential decision of the game. I'm going to let it resolve. Yeah, and this might completely screw me, but I'm hoping to ride this frog to victory. They know I have a force now. They don't know that I have a 2. Okay, now I'm glad I let that resolve, because I can just bounce it back later. I think what I do is I stall for time. I'm going to hit their land. And then we're going to hope to rip. We have Dismember on the next creature. And then if they don't have removal, and if we draw a land, then we'll be fine. And that might have seemed really like, oh, well, that's what you like to see. That's why you waste the people. You waste them so that the cradle comes up empty. All right, so I'm going to play this out, and I'm going to hope that they don't have Wasteland. If they have a Wasteland, that is bad news bears, and we're just going to chill for a long time. But they have a lot more lands in their deck than we do. Let's put it that way. Is this a Wasteland? It's a Cavern. Okay, that's not the worst. They have 1 mana. Can I get a land? Please. Please give me a land. Oh my goodness. This is a land, isn't it? Okay, so options. 1, we waste them all at the Cavern, and option number 2, we bounce this so we can Brainstorm, and we can force it on the way back down. I like that. I'm not going to waste them yet. They'll have to draw another soul land, and we can take their creature out of play after, if we need to. They don't have anything. We are so lucky. We are so minted. Is that like an expression that the Zoomers say? All right. If I sound a little loopy, it's because like super late, and I had like a really long day at work. And usually I record these in the morning, but tonight I'm recording after the kids go down. All right. So we want to find a fetch to put our 1-drops back so we don't have to force anything. Harbinger is freaking sweet. We're going to stick Harbinger, and we're going to keep double removal up. So options. 1, we could just chill and not hit this. I think I'm going to play out the Wasteland, and I'm just not going to use it. And they're going to know of their impending demise. And the next turn, I could play the Underground Sea. And then, yeah, I'm trying to think. I think that's fine. Actually, if I play out a second Wasteland, it may deter them from wasting me. Yeah, so I'll put the Wasteland back, and I'll plan to play it next turn. Then I've got Brainstorm up, which I don't think I'll need. I've got Dismember. I'm not gonna do anything here. I'm just gonna wait. They can't even cast the. But if I cast that, I don't actually have a way to win other than just attacking within Harbinger. It's gonna take a lot of attacks. No, I can cast this out of sideboard or out of exile. Wow. All right. Yeah, I'm not gonna waste. They're going to discard. This is just like the luckiest match against Eldrazi I've ever had in my entire life. My goodness. Okay. So this is a chance to take them off a mana source. I think we take it. No, I'll just keep this. It'll be useful later. I think they'll probably scoop pretty quick. We have double force. So this turn we're attacking for 2. Next turn we're attacking for 5. And then shortly after they should be dead. Brazen Borrower is such a good card. Like the fact that it got that Chalice out of play so we could break our brains, so we could Brainstorm and find land. So the eye, of course, like prime thing to target here if we get the chance. Chalice is fine. I just needed to get that Brainstorm in. That's all I cared about. I'm drawing Fatal Push here. This is their Dismember. I'm going to counter it. I'll pitch my Brainstorm since I can't cast it. All right. They're going to need another one of those. Them getting One Ring out would be pretty scary. So that was one reason to maybe waste. Yeah, I definitely don't want to have to force a One Ring. That'll suck. But they're drawing to the top of their deck, and their deck is not being kind to them. All right, so we just have to keep the Harbinger in play for 3 more turns. All right, that represents Hardcast Force. I think I'll play it out. Hardcast Force doesn't really matter that much, but it is nice to not have to pitch our Frog, because if they do kill this, we'll need a backup threat to win with. All right, they've got 4 mana. I will force a One Ring, as much as it sucks to do so. We're going to get them down to 2. I don't think they're not able to dismember anymore. I don't think they have a path to victory anymore. All right, we're attacking. 2 life. Don't know what they could possibly have here. I think that's probably game. If they had One Ring, that could buy them a turn. Yep, that was just incredibly lucky. This game totally brought to you by Wasteland. Like, that decision to waste the tomb, just think about it, had I not done that, who knows what's in their hand. All right, let's head over to round 2. I'm going to grab a drink, and we're going to settle in. We are 1-0. All right, we're up in round 2, likely against Eldrazi. Chloe Knight, I think, has been playing Eldrazi recently. This hand does have Murktide Regent, which is a great card. It does have Fatal Push. Like, so the other card they could be on, the other deck they could be on, could be like, I don't know. Do we want to keep this that opens? I don't have a good feeling about it. It's great that we're on the play, though. This is a much better hand. A lot of flexibility. Frog is strong. I feel like we put back the Wasteland, and then we can fetch our basics and play on basics if we want. We can see what they're on, and then we can, based on what they're on, we can brainstorm stuff away. I think Wasteland is probably the card to put back, though, just because I want to make sure I have mana to play out Psychic Frog. Let's keep this Wasteland at the bottom. I'm not sure. Leave a comment if you think that's not correct. I'm totally open to that not being correct. And I'd like your feedback as to whether that was a good mulligan. If you wouldn't mind, just add a timestamp. I know I asked for that incessantly, but it really does help me improve as a pilot. Okay, Crystal Vein. So this is interesting. I have no idea. This could be Ruby Storm. That's a Vexing Bauble. I'm not going to do anything here. Yeah, that's bad news, though. The good news is they probably don't have interaction if they're playing Ruby Storm. And we're probably going to be able to ride this Psychic Frog all the way to the bank. I'm going to put away the days for sure. So I'll brainstorm end step, and then I'll put away the days. The other option is this. This could be like some sort of Eldrazi with Vexing Bauble in it, but I doubt that's the case. It doesn't really hurt to just play on basics here. I'm not sure. I mean, it could hurt later. I think I'm going to go Basic Island, and then I'll go Underground Sea. Just in case I draw Murktide. Let's go in the old in-step Imperfect Brainstorm. There we go. I'm pretty sure this isn't going to matter, but it is nice to have it in the graveyard, and the days is truly dead. If this is Ruby Storm, I'd rather have that in hand just as something I can fetch away. Okay, and we drew a bunch of lands, which sucks. The Dismember is totally dead here. But we are going to have a Frog. Now that we have extra land, I guess I could go ahead and get the basic just in case, heaven forbid they are playing Blood Moon. That would be a terrible way to lose. Totally unnecessary. But basically, we're totally naked after this. We have no interaction whatsoever that is available currently. We're going to trust in the Frog. Dismember is not a good card, but they do play creatures in their deck, so it's possible that we can snag like a Raj or the Storyteller Lady. Okay, is this Eldrazi? The One Ring. Can't interact with that. That sucks. All right, so we could be up against Karnforge or something like that. If they get the protection trigger. When we're playing in paper, sometimes people forget to announce the protection trigger and you can get them with that, but it doesn't look like that's going to work here. Okay, I'm just going to start by brainstorming. And I want to get rid of these lands. I'm going to definitely hit their Ancient Tomb. But if I hit their Ancient Tomb, I have to redraw this stuff. I think it's still probably worth it. Represents 2 mana. Yeah, let's put these back. I'll hold on to these just in some fantasy land where they're actually going to connect. But, I mean, they can always be pitched to Frog. That's the great thing about Frog is just like they play a Chalice. Okay, well, I've got a whole bunch of cards that I can feed the Frog now. They are succeeding in drawing. I don't think the bauble is likely to pop at all. Okay, another Ancient Tomb. All right, and they're passing. So this tells me that the Ancient Tomb didn't matter because they probably have stuff they could do if they have 7 cards in hand, so. We can hardcast a Daze. So Daze isn't totally dead. Please don't Kozilek's Command my Frog. Actually, by all means, because I'll probably be able to successfully Daze it if they do that. I'm not sure how they would have mana for that. I think at this point, I probably do go ahead and pitch everything except for the Daze to Frog. I know I'm drawing a dead card, but I'd rather have damage than, like, the dead card will get pitched. Like, I think Daze will be the last spell I cast this game. But doing damage to them is definitely the top priority here. Like, I think it's unlikely that my Fatal Push and my Dismember find a home. Even if they play creatures, they're probably not creatures that have evasion, so I can probably fly over their heads. So we're going to do that. Now I'm going to discard. Boom. Discard. Boom. Discard. Boom. Discard. Boom. Take 5. Yeah, and then next turn, let's see, if we hit them for 7 this turn, we draw. They're going to take 2 from their ring. I think it's worth it to keep the optionality of potentially sniping some spell with a Daze. They're not going to expect it. They're going to assume their cards aren't going to be countered because of Vexing Bubble. So we're drawing a land, which we can just pitch next turn. All right, and they probably realistically have like 1 more turn cycle to win, because unless they can get rid of my Frog. Because they're taking 2 here, then if they tap this, they're taking another 2, and they're taking 5 now, so that'll bring them down to 8, and I can easily kill them at 8. Like, and I don't even have to kill them because they'll take another 2 or 3 on the subsequent turn. So Frog is just proving to be the absolute unit, as my Aussie friends say. All right. I think if they Kozilek's Command, they likely max it out, and I do think Daze can potentially get them there. All right, 2 to the Dome. They're at 10. Okay, so they're dead. If they tap this Tomb, they're dead next turn. All right, they have a lot more mana now. Another 1 ring that I can't interact with. Says buy them a turn. Okay, are they going to tap it? They are. Okay. That is a really sick looking avatar. Look at those horns. They had to weigh a ton. You constantly have neck aches from carrying a crown of horns like that around. Look at that. Is there any way to zoom in on the art? No. All right, so they discarded Mystic Forge. So they're definitely on Karnforge. Well, they're definitely on Forge, but I'm going to assume they're on Karnforge with the, whatchamacallit. All right, so if I ponder here, what am I looking to find? A Thoughtseize would be good. I don't know. I might as well, because I think I can kill him next turn anyway. So I'll ponder, and then I'll just have to play out the land. I don't think Tamiyo does anything here. I'm looking for interaction, specifically Thoughtseize. Borrower actually might do something here. I'll play this out, and I'll pass. It is a sad day when the Frog cannot draw blood, or when he cannot do whatever the heck he is. Whatever the heck he does to do so much damage. He's like one of those Poison Dart Frogs. Okay, so we'll let this resolve. Okay, Legend rolling the land for additional pain. Ouch. Manifold Key. They're getting a lot of mana on board. Yeah, I just have to let this go. They've got so much mana now. Yeah, that's fine. They're going to draw an extra card. They're going to untap Monolith. Not going to untap the... oh, they're paying to untap the mana. Okay, yeah, they're going to do it again. They got 5 mana. Come on, maximize this. You know you want to. What? Another ring? Yep. You got another turn of degeneracy. And you can tap that Ancient Tomb without fear. Yeah, there's no benefit to bouncing. One thing you could consider doing here is bouncing this back to hand so they don't get a draw trigger off of it. But yeah, it's fine. Like a lot of times my opponents just kill themselves through not finding a win condition. I hope they keep casting stuff into my days. Okay. Once again, I find myself sitting here. The frog's sitting on the log, upside down, waiting for his opportunity to swing. I'm trying to think of I guess we play this out just because it is a potential win condition. Like if now they have to remove both of these. I don't think they're going to remove either of them. I think they're just going to combo off. But yeah, okay. Now they can't really tap their tombs anymore. Okay, city. So they do have a lot of mana. They've got the manifold key. So I think, is it worth bouncing this and restricting their mana? Because I can do this and then they don't get any mana. I'm going to do it. Call me crazy. I'm going to be a mad lad. Then they have to use 2 mana to play back out. Yeah, I'll do it. This denies them 3 mana. Okay, 2 mana. They're playing it back out. They're going to... Yeah, they just tap both of them. Yeah, okay. I think they were suiciding there. I don't think that was unintentional. Yeah, we just played. We didn't give up, and we faced down 3. The 1 rings. Again, the 1 ring, a card that should be restricted because of its lore, but sadly it is not restricted. I think the engineered explosives are good here. I think we should definitely bring in the force negations and probably the consigns. I don't think Harbinger matters here. Cards that don't matter are removal. I'm going to take all of that out. Like, if they get a, what's-his-face, Glaring Fleshbreaker, I won't have to remember that awkward name in a few months because hopefully they'll ban it. The card is so degenerate. I think it's right to take out the Bobble when we're putting in Null Rod. It'd just be a super awkward draw. Also, they're playing... and we can take these out. These don't do anything here. So I think that'll bring us to exactly 60 cards. So let's just take one more look at this. So we've got all of our consigns in. We got our Null Rod. We got our explosives. We removed our removal. We didn't remove Dismember. We could remove it, but there's not really any reason to remove it. Like, I don't think there's anything in here that's good. I think Dismember is probably better than Fatal Push just in case they do have, like... I mean, we can cast it off any color, and heaven forbid they somehow juke into, like... I'm not sure. Actually, you know what? In case they are playing Karn, I'd rather play Sheoldred's Edict. All right? And I haven't seen Karn in these Karnforge decks in forever, so it might not even be in the decks anymore. All right. This is a solid hand. Like, I don't even have to think about it. Look at this. Interaction. This, by the way, works around Vexing Bobble and stuff. Like, just solid. Snapping it off, and I'm hoping to draw into some wins, but we're hoping we can stall them out. They do have a lot of air in their deck. It's one reason to... yeah, we're going to have to stop that. Yeah, Lotus... Urza Saga could be a problem here. Okay, they're just going off here. We'll take Key. I'm going to let that resolve. I'll counter the stuff that it taps for. But they've already got some pretty fat sagas. And they can't make at least one construct. So this is a problem. I might actually consign the trigger that lets them make constructs here just so I don't have to deal with those. Wasteland would be epic. Swamp's not terrible, though. I'm not going to complain about it. I think I'm just going to take this, and I will plan to consign that trigger. Because I'm almost certain that it's going to be no good for us if they create some constructs here. All right. Countered. They can't make constructs. I'm almost certain that this is going to go fetch a Vexing Bobble. It's very sad. But Their hand doesn't seem to do anything. They have a ton of mana and they're not using it. Okay, more lands. Not what we want to see. We do have Hardcast Days up, and then even through the bubble, and then end step we can just fetch a Surveil land and try to find some action. That's fine. I'm not going to worry about them pithing needling my land because I've got plenty of other lands in my hand. There's the Vexing Bauble that I figured was coming. There's the Mystic Forge. So sad that we can't stop that. Like, Vexing Bauble is just a screwed up card. Yeah, we just have to let it happen. Maybe we can counter something off the top. We're definitely losing this though. Unless they completely stall out. Okay, they don't have anything. That's good. We do have Brazen Borrower, but I'm not optimistic the Brazen Borrower is going to matter here. Or are they not going to pass the turn? They started to pass it. Okay, they're exiling the top. Paradox Engine. They don't have the mana. Thank goodness. All right, so we're going to get our Surveil land, and we're going to try to find... Murktide would be great. Just... actually, Murktide's not... We're not ready for you yet. Murktide, don't come yet. We would probably like... we just want to find a Null Rod as soon as possible. That's really what we want to find. We don't need that. So that's like drawing a card almost. Imagine pay 1 life, search your library for a land, and draw a card. That's basically what we just did. Okay. So here, we're tapping out of days, sadly, but I think we have to get the Psychic Frog on the table. All right. And it's our opponent's turn. We will pitch our entire hand here to maximize the amount of damage we do because, frankly, we're just not doing anything. They're able to, like, draw as many cards as they want each turn. Yeah, like holding up Hardcast Days, not super strong. Holding up, yeah, nothing I can do about that, sadly. Okay, this is going to create a bunch of freaking... Oh, Basalt Monolith. Okay, they've got a lot of mana. That much is for sure. So we just have to hope they hit lands on top of their deck. Deals 1 damage to each opponent. Okay, so they can't target our frog with this. But we do have Hardcast Force Negation for next turn if we don't have anything better to do. And I suspect we won't have anything better to do. I wouldn't be surprised if this was just like the mother of all Kozilek's commands, which will sadly cause me to resign the game because we're just not going to come back from that. We're already in a pretty hopeless situation. Not being able to answer that Urza Saga, that is one reason to play 4 Wastelands, which we're doing, is it just increases your likelihood of being able to answer an Urza Saga in a situation like this. Okay, so they exiled the land off the top. Got 6 mana. The 1 ring. I think we can concede here. They've got 1 ring key. They've got this. They've got... Yeah. Let's just go to the next game. We weren't going to be able to do any damage for a turn. They would just sit there and amass resources. Okay. So. Harbinger does kill their sagas. It does shut off soul lands. I think it's probably better than... What is it better? Maybe no, it's not better. I'm kidding myself. The game's not going to even go that long. And yeah, I think this is fine. I'm just going to run it back. Nethergoyf can do a lot of early damage if we can get him on the table. I don't have to worry about fetching non-basics. So I'm just going to fetch my non-basics. And then hopefully I'll Nethergoyf into Days or something like that. Can we find a sideboard card? Nethergoyf into Days. I said I wanted that, and that's what I got. I'm going to keep this. So we start Nethergoyf, and then next turn, if we draw a land, we can... The problem is, if I turn 1 Nethergoyf and I don't have anything going on, Nethergoyf does literally nothing. It's probably better to play Tameo out, just because she can at least get a clue here. Let's see, I mean, playing out Nethergoyf doesn't cause me to lose any interaction, though. And if I do stifle, or if I do daze something... That is 1 damage on the Nethergoyf, and then if I rip like a land, that's more. I'm going to try to... So playing Nethergoyf here is a high roll thing. Playing Tameo is a safe. Like, they're unlikely to be able to interact with this. I'm just going to play that out. Also, if they do play Chalice, I'd be sadder that my, Tameo was locked under it. No, I'd be sadder that the Nethergoyf was locked under it. Who am I kidding? Grim Monolith's fine. I like that they played this land out. So weird seeing like the new border on these old reserve list cards that will unfortunately never be reprinted. Okay, so this is a force, I think. It's just too much of a pain. Not safe for life. I think at this point we could pitch the days. I'm going to pitch the frog. No. This might be a really key decision here. I'm going to pitch the frog. I think that there's a chance that they get greedy and do something that we can daze here. They're down to 3 cards. I'm going to go after the mana. I'm going to stop this. I know that's extremely aggressive, but like something just tells me that if this stays, we're screwed. I'll be really sad if they just drop another key. They pass. Okay, good. So, they could have like City of Trader or something, but like we did stop 2 of their plays at a very high cost. Land? Fetch land? Fetch land? Wasteland? No. Ponder's good though. I'm going to ponder and I'm going to hope to find a fetch land. Yeah, that's a fetch land. So we definitely don't want to draw this land, but we might want to draw days first. And then... No, I'm just going to put my cards on the table. I'll be drawing more later. Because I want to get the clock going. All right, 3-4. Not bad for 1 mana. And we've got a clock, and we've got a little mini engine that can. Best draw is probably like a Thoughtseize, maybe. Best draw is definitely a null rod. If we can find it, that would be amazing. Okay, they're legend rolling it for a bad land. Like literally a terrible land that you would never play, except in like degenerate combo decks like this. Please sack it. Just sack it. All right. They changed their mind. They're not going to do it. They are doing it. Okay, 5 mana. Paradox Engine. Okay. Do they have a 0-drop? We're screwed if they start just untapping that and having 3 mana each turn. We need a Brazen Borrower would be good. I don't think Thoughtseize does anything here. Let's see what we draw. Wasteland. It's not the worst. Let me think about this. I kind of think we go ahead and play the Wasteland out and we just crack the clue. Just see what we draw. Okay. That'll be okay next turn. I'm just going to attack and we're going to see if we're dead. They have 2 cards in hand. We are very far away from victory. But if they stall out, we might be able to get there. They have no mana. They have to draw a 0-cost artifact. Okay, that is something we can wasteland next turn. That's great. Force of Negation. So good. Unfortunately, Undercity Sewer does come into play tapped whenever you cast a non-land spell. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and Surveil first because I do want to... that is an above average draw. Actually, I can draw that and then I can use it with Force Negation, so I'm definitely going to leave it there. I am going to definitely hit this. I don't think there's any reason to wait. And then I'll just attack. We're just chipping in little by little. And what we're going to have to do is probably crack... Oh, wait, did we draw earlier? We can flip Tameo. I think that's worth doing. Yeah. Wait a second. Did we draw this turn? No, we didn't. That just came in play tapped. I'm hallucinating. Okay, I'm just going to pass. And I can draw and keep the mystery. Okay, there's the land. Oh, man. This is intense. I do think I'm going to flip Tameo next turn. Okay, so I think what I do is I ponder, and then I can flip Tameo. That land is no good. I want to find a wasteland really badly. These are not the cards. I mean, I love Psychic Frog, don't get me wrong, but it's not the card right now. Okay, I'm glad we kept. I do think I'm going to attack first. Do we have an instant? Yeah, we have instants. Okay, I'm going to attack first. I'll create my clue, and then I'm going to brainstorm. I should be able to find a blue card. Hopefully a wasteland. They're down to 11, but it doesn't really matter. They can just combo out all of a sudden. Okay, we found Thoughtseize, which is really good. And we found wasteland. We are so minted. Okay, so I think we just need to play out the wasteland and hold Frog as a force pitch, and the next turn we can take their best card. And actually, we can regrow something if we need to. I feel really good beating Karnforge here. This is like the greatest feeling because I've lost to this deck in frustrating ways. I beat it. I guess I've been mainly beating it, but like usually I'll beat it in the way that I beat it last game, where like basically or not last game, but the game before last, where they just like basically ran out of steam and killed themselves with the One Ring and Ancient Tombs. Okay. We could try to recur a Ponder. I don't think ultimating is necessary here. I do want to get something back. I think getting a Ponder back is fine. So we draw. Oh, that's the Thoughtseize we knew we were going to draw. I think I'm going to go ahead and take a look at their hand, and if they have like something that they can cast, that's good for us. Which one do we want to take? I'm more scared of the Glaring Fleshraker because it produces blockers. But Karn can get the... No, I'm going to take Glaring Fleshraker. Karn can be forced. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get back... I mean, I could take them both and leave them totally hellbent. I think I want to get back a Ponder, though, because if I can find a Wasteland, that is amazing. Well, or we could just find both of the cards that answer those things. Oh, actually, yeah, it does answer the creature, doesn't it? They're not going to like this. Boom, diggity. All right, and we're just chipping away for 3. Holding them at bay. Force negation up. There are lots of cards they could draw here. Like just a freaking Lotus Petal. Another land. Okay. So they've managed to draw lands consecutively. But I've been very lucky with my Ponder, so I'm not complaining. I don't want you to think I'm like somehow tilted or anything. All right, Childer's Edict. So we're going to definitely plus here. I think we just start by attacking, and then we have a lot of stuff up, and we can draw if necessary. I don't think it's necessary to play out the Psychic Frog. Yeah, if we play the Psychic Frog, we can't draw. Next turn, I can minus Tameo to go get a Force of Will just to ensure that we don't die. But I can't ensure that we don't die here. Okay. Yes, there's nothing we can do about this. So they are going to get to untap their Grim Monolith because they're going to be able to cast whenever you cast a spell. Oh, what happened? Why did they concede? They could have cast that and untap, but actually it wouldn't have mattered. Because they weren't able to draw a card after that. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure why they decided to concede at that point. All right, we're 2-0. See you in round 3. All right, we are up against Michael Reed. He is a Doomsday player, very good, and he plays like a tempo Doomsday build. So it'll be interesting to see how we can fare against that. Assuming he hasn't switched decks. I think it'd be reckless for me to not at least check, right? So, yeah, still playing Doomsday. Probably just flipping to tempo. This can get grindy, so I'm going to play quickly here. But I can tell you that this is not a good anti-Doomsday hand. This, however, does have double Orcish Bowmasters, famous for their ability to inflict harm upon people that choose to draw a lot of cards. I think we keep this, and if we put away the Dismember, just because they do have creatures in their deck, but they're less likely to have them here. We alternatively could put away Tameo, but we do have a Tameo flip in 2 turns. I think we put away the second Bowmaster. There is such a thing as too much of a good thing, right? And I just don't want to find myself in a situation where I've got a handful of Bowmasters and they've like wasted me, because they do play like Wastelands and stuff. Unfortunately, MTGO is timing out, so hopefully... Okay, it worked. All right. And I don't want to get caught with my proverbial pants down if they do play like a Tameo and they're about to flip her, or... and by the way, like, caught with your pants down is like an old Western term for like when you go out to like the outhouse and somebody goes and assassinates you there when your pants are down and your guns are at your heels. I'm not trying to... This is a PG rated... channel. Okay, so here's that Psychic Frog that I was worried about, and they will need to pitch their entire hand to keep them alive. Will they do that? I bet you they will. What happens if they do that? They pitch their entire hand to Psychic Frog. Let's see, 4 cards. Yeah, they literally need to pitch every single card in their hand to keep them alive. I think I'd go for it because, yeah, because then we can just stall them out with Orcish Bowmasters, or we can throw stuff in the air to block. The other alternative is we just, yeah, because we have a follow-up Ponder. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Call me crazy. Call me insane. I am going to attempt dissect that frog. There we go. I mean, that's basically what that is, dissection. Are they crazy enough? You know what? Like doing this during combat would have reduced the amount of damage I'm going to take. Okay, they let it go. Thank goodness. Ding dong, the witch is dead. I would be very sad if they just like open a wasteland, but like you have to address this. A Lotus Petal into an uncounterable cavern. They have to assume I have counter magic in my hand. Another one. All right, well now we have our mana kind of set up a little bit, so we have a little more counterplay. Well, there's a saying that Napoleon has, which is better lucky than good. Let's see if this resolves. This is the more important of the 2 spells. Just freaking ripping the nuts. Sorry, this is PG, PG rated. Okay, so I am going to try to deploy my Tamio here, and I'm just going to not play on basics here because I've already committed to it. Let's see if they daze this. I'm totally fine if they daze it. Murktide is going to spell the end for our friend over there. Super chill dude. Offered to let me borrow his Barrogoyfs. Okay, another frog. Yep. And a fetch. So their hand is really thin right now. They don't have a lot to work with. And if we can figure out a way to remove the Psychic Frog, we'll be in a really strong position. Options. 1, we can ponder into fetch into Murktide would be pretty good. I think I'm going to go for that line. I think we shuffle these. This is more of the same. We don't care about their mana. If I attack, they could dump their entire hand to kill Tamio. Alternative, yeah. I think that'd be bad. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'll see how badly they want to kill Tamio. If they want to kill her, that's fine. I've got lots of other things I can do here. I think they're just going to let her go through. They do. Okay, and now we can flip her. Oh, no. They are doing it. They're crazy. Wow. They did it. Okay. So they're going to discard the last card too? That's fine. Are you going to discard your last card to kill her? All right. Wow. They had like nothing. Okay. She's dead. Congrats. Now I'm going to stick my Nethergoyf, I think. And then Nethergoyf should be big enough to block. Oh, no. They could. They're going to surveil here. They do have cards in the graveyard. They can attack in. They're going to have one more card. I'm going to block. And they're not going to be able to kill it. This is a really interesting game, by the way. Yeah, if they attack, I'm just going to block. Okay, they're flying. That's fine. They can hit me. All right. It would have been great to have the land there to be able to flip her, by the way, but I don't regret throwing her under the bus. She made Nethergoyf bigger. What Nethergoyf is going to do is help me shut off their plan B of, or really their plan A of Doomsday. Wow, they had a land. That's really bad for them. Okay. So now what we're going to do is daze not the best. Okay, so we have everything in our graveyard except artifact. We could just Murktide after combat, and then we'd have a wall that they're not going to be able to get through. Let's see, how big would it be? 1, 2. I don't think that's correct. I'm going to go ahead and ponder just in case I do find an artifact. I can put it in the yard and do a little more damage. This isn't terrible, actually. So I'm going to play this as my land. And then I have Daze up, I have Bowmaster up, and I have Clue for Force, depending on what they do. They will have 2 cards. They will be able to potentially pitch a card and hit Nethergoyf. Well, they'd have to pitch both their cards. So if they pitch both their cards, that's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just ping with Bowmasters and they'll be Hellbent. And if they want to pitch both cards and get another Flight of the Concords, I'm going to Bowmaster them. And then I will, yeah, I think this is fine. This is the Doomsday. So I think we just, we're going to draw. I'm just going to force this. And I will force pitching. Do I want to force pitching Murktide? How big is Murktide potentially? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a full-size Murktide. I think we pitch Daze here. Okay, and they have 1 colorless mana. I'm not sure what they're doing. They're Edge of Auditing. That's fine. Trying to desperately draw a Daze. Do they get there? They do not. Okay, it's countered. They can fly. They probably will. Their frog will soon be so big that it can tango with my Murktide. They're going to have 2 cards to pitch to it, so it'll be a 5, but it won't be... I'm just going to wall up with my Murktide and then ping them a whole lot with my Bowmasters. And they will be able to fly. Because the thing is, you draw a card, and then... So you don't draw quite enough cards to discard and always give it Flight, but you usually can. And next turn, they will be able to. So I think this is the turn where I do have to make a move. Options, of course, I think attacking with Nethergoyf is free here because they do have the ability to make it fly. Wait a second. Actually, if they attack in and they pitch 2 cards, I can still kill it with Bowmasters, and I can hold up. So they have to pitch both cards to give it Flight, and then I can ping them, and then I can put up the Murktide. No, I think I need to attack with Murktide here, or I need to cast a Murktide here. I think it's unlikely that they happen to have 2 business spells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and that shrinks my Nethergoyf dramatically. But oh, I should have pitched 1 more. That was a mistake. All right. Yeah, I should have gotten the Ponder out too. I was thinking of preserving my Nethergoyf's stoutliness. Pondering. Don't have Bowmasters in play to punish this. They're not going to be able to connect with Psychic Frog this turn. So it's going to take them a few turns before they can get him big enough. But they do have that, instant win button that they can press. It is worth noting that if they Doomsday, it gets rid of their graveyard. And then they won't be able to fly Murktide to prevent my Murktide from killing them. And my Murktide will hit them for lethal if they Doomsday. So I think Doomsday is off the table as long as Mark is on the table. But I do believe they play Brazen Borrower. I could be wrong. I don't think they play any removal for Murktide, though. They could have their own Murktide, but I think that comes out of the sideboard. And because it's a friendly game, I'm going to do the cheap thing and look at their list and see exactly how they've been playing. Yeah, I don't think they're likely to see. Yeah, they do have Murktides on the side. Yeah, and no removal that can stop them. Basically, this Murktide is just a game piece for the rest of the game. I'll feel so much better once I have this Bowmaster in play, by the way. It's just been, I've been itching to get it out there. But I have to have a wall up to prevent the Psychic Frog from connecting, because I am in danger of potentially dying to Psychic Frog. They're tanking 2 minutes on that Ponder. It must be a really crucial decision. All right, so they're not going to attack, I presume, unless they're crazy. All right, and next turn they can actually survive the attack because I screwed up. They don't know it, though. So they could have Daze in their hand. Yeah, if they dump their whole hand to kill the Murktide, see, that's 4. Yeah, if they do that, then I'll just ping. If they don't, I'll just chill and end step Bowmaster them. And I might be able to snag a cantrip or something here. I'm not going to play out the Nethergoyf is not relevant. And I want to make sure that I don't get dazed on my Bowmaster. I would love nothing more than for them to dump their hand to kill my Murktide. Whoa! The tech. Miracle. When you reveal this card. Wait, okay. Yeah, it's revealed. You're going to cast it, I presume. So they don't have anything they can return. It's just a 4/4 lifelink. But that is a good card, for sure. This game is getting more interesting. Does it have Death Touch or anything? Return up to one target card from your graveyard. Okay, so they don't have any cards in their graveyard. Thankfully, they got rid of all those with the Psychic Frog. No, they're definitely not going to be able to attack this turn. We're just going to go ahead and get in. So at 8, I don't think there's a risk of me dying here. Let's see what we draw. Force, not the greatest. Options. We could just attack with the giant Murktide. We could double block the Metamorphosis with Nethergoyfs to kill it. Psychic Frog doesn't have to jump up and block Murktide. They're looking at gaining enough life. The problem is if we chill, we're probably falling behind. So I do think I'm going to play this out for sure. I just wish I'd put the Ponder under. Well, it's probably better this way because we can double block this thing. I think we're favored if we wait. They're drawing a lot of dead cards. If we find a Psychic Frog of our own, the game's just over because we can feed our Murktide and do all kinds of cool things. This is a cool kind of Doomsday card because they can put it in their Doomsday pile and they can return Thassa's Oracle. So you can, like, I guess, upkeep, draw. Oh, I flipped this and, like, actually I don't know how it would work, but some Doomsday mastermind has probably figured it out. Okay, this is fine. This is going to be a Force of Will. Yeah, I think we just have to force this. I don't feel comfortable letting this resolve. And they may know that. They may just... Okay, I think now that their hand is a little leaner, I think we do need to start attacking. That's not what we want to see. I think we have to hold it as much as I want to surveil. Yeah, I'm just going to swing in. And I think this will encourage them to attack. But I'm not going to let them know that I have nothing in my hand. That's not going to do us any good. They are going to get a draw, but a draw pings them. I've stopped 2 of their Doomsdays. I don't think they can safely Doomsday at this point. Actually, had I let that Doomsday resolve, they almost certainly would have died. And I mean, I don't know what's in their hand, but they would have dropped to 7, and I would have been able to attack, and they would have had to throw a Psychic Frog in front of it. If they attack, I'll throw both Nethergoyfs and the Orc Army in front of it. If I can get one more type in my yard, oh my goodness, the freaking land would have been a type in my yard. I could have put it in there. I don't think I could have swung for lethal, but I can definitely do that next turn. That's fine. They can hit me for 6 here, if they so desire. All right, we're going to go to blocks. Boom. 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 They are going to be able to kill the Orc Army token, but I don't want to get in a situation where this thing survives. I don't care about the Orc Army token. I'm about to get a new one. They're dead on board. I'm actually not sure how they survive this. They have to, like, Doomsday and then win this turn because they're only able to do 7 damage to me. Okay, so they're not even... I think they... Did they screw up assigning damage? Oh, no, I had 4 body on there. Okay, yeah, so we won. That was just, like, patient, like... Kill the frog, respect the frog, you know, don't let it stick around. And we killed the first 2 on site. We got lucky and killed them. Okay, so combo matchup. They're probably going to take some of the combo out. I'm not sure if we make any changes. Consign does stop the, Thassa's Oracle trigger, but that's all it does. It's not very good. Actually, I don't think we make any changes. I don't see anything to bring in. They do have probably some number of Tamios. Yeah, 4. So we may... Oh, and yeah, I'm going to bring in... I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take out these graveyard cards that do nothing. Do they bring in Bowmasters? They don't bring in Bowmasters, so that's nice. So I can keep the Bauble. And then I'm going to assume that they're playing this list, but the list is obviously different. Like, obviously, that card that we saw, the Miracle card, was just printed. I think a Force of Negation is not bad. Null Rod's pretty bad. Engineered Explosives, I'm trying to think of what that can blow up. I don't think it's relevant. Yeah, because, we're going to do this. So we're still very heavy tempo, but we only have one way to get the artifact. So the largest our Nethergoyfs are likely to be is a 4/5 instead of a 5/6. I love my stacked boys, but they're just not going to get there. So I just want to point out my opponent has waited literally to the last second to submit the deck. 3, 2, 1. Are they not doing any changes? I can only assume that they did actually do some sideboard changes. This could be server weirdness. They did just upload those Duskmourn cards and like restarted the whole leagues. But I'm going to assume my opponent did sideboard, and they do have their more tempo-y plan. I mean, this is a fast, pretty big Nethergoyf, but like, I mean, yeah, we don't want to keep a 4-laner. And with one unknown, this is much better. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to pause for a moment just so they don't know. And I think the card I'm going to put back is Orcish Bowmasters, just because I'm not sure how soon I'm going to draw a blue source, and all these other cards do stuff. They began with 7 cards. So yeah, Bowmaster at the bottom, done. All right, they play a pretty mean tempo game, so we can expect some pretty explosive starts. Obviously, last turn they went, uncounterable. Turn 1, Psychic Frog, so probably more of that stuff. We do have Doomsday covered. I think the correct thing to do here is just float the island out there, and we have Emergency Brainstorm, and we have Daze Proof Force if they try to Dark Ritual Doomsday here. Consider a card that you would never play outside of Doomsday. It's just not legacy power level. They put a Barrowgoyf in the yard. Okay. I guess they don't have the mana for that, because that is a really good card against us. Here's a Brainstorm. Probably looking for a land. Yeah, generally when you're putting like premier threats like Barrowgoyf in the yard in a tempo mirror, it's because you need to find land. Okay, there is a land. I think I'm going to probably waste them here. I'll wait till they're upkeep to waste them. That's not a great draw. Unfortunately, wasting them is a very scary proposition, because they do have that card that cycles. But I'm going to hope that they boarded that out and that they're on a tempo plan here. I could be wrong, and I would be punished severely. But I do get the vibe that they don't have any mana. All right. I'm going to let them resolve their Brainstorm, and then I'm going to waste them. So this may seem like an incredibly passive start, but okay, do they have it? They actually, giving them the Brainstorm there did give them a chance to find the whatever it's called, the cycler, the green cycler, Edge of Autumn. Okay, and here's another card that this may seem scary because, oh no, I can't counter their Psychic Frogs or whatever, but this is less scary than black mana. Dragon. Okay, Murktide coming out already. We do have a Sheoldred's Edict. We're going to have to dig for it. This is going to be a 6/6, so we'll have to be pretty quick to find our black source. And we'll have to do it during their turn so we can force in case they okay, well, it's a little bit too late there. Okay, options. 1, we might be able to find, no, we're not going to be able to find, I think it's correct to just ponder here. Okay, we got there. So I think I'm going to go, no, I don't even care about this non-basic land anymore. I don't have any daisies in my hand. I'm going to take the Polluted Delta. And now I can get a Surveil land, and I'll take 1 hit, and then I'm going to Sheoldred's Edict. Actually, I'll just wait, and I'll have a land, and then I'll play that out, and then I can Sheoldred's Edict. I hope I stacked it right where I'm drawing the Underground Sea and not the Wasteland. Okay. Barrowgoyf. I don't want to deal with that, and I don't have another Sheoldred's Edict. So I'm going to put Brainstorm under. They're forcing back. Okay, this tells me that they are on like a super duper aggro plan. So I will be forcing their force, and I'll be pitching this Ponder so I can fix my hand later. I'd rather have a Brainstorm. Okay. Please don't be the Wasteland. Okay, good. Good. I was like really worried that I'd screwed that up. I'm just going to do it now before they can draw anything. They're down to 2 cards, but I'm down to 1. But I do have a Surveil here. And I do have a Wasteland. Like, I don't think it's going to be relevant, though. So I definitely want to shuffle that away. Oh, no, they have another one. Yep, that's in, and that is pretty big. So we do still have all our Fatal Pushes in. So we just need to find a Fatal Push. We're going to need to turn on Revolt, though. I hate to do this, but I think we already have something. We need to find action. Tameo does not do it, but yeah, I don't even want to flip Tameo. It's not good. I think what we do here is we brainstorm first. See if we can find fetch, fatal push. That's pretty damn good. Okay. I am not going to lie. That is like super duper good. Okay, so I am very happy to have found that. So I'll draw Tameo and I'll just deploy her next turn. Right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take your land and I'm going to push your very scary threat. Incredible luck. But, you know, some of that is just me being disciplined. Okay, and they could have definitely, I don't think they have Force of Negation in their deck. They definitely wouldn't board it in here. So I felt better to do it during my turn before they untapped. Okay, how many more threats do you have in your deck? So here's our Tameo. Just yeet her out there. Nothing to see here. Please don't destroy it. I want my Moonfolk to be able to generate lots of clues. No, they have a removal spell. Makes sense that they're just holding that. Yeah. And now we're drawing a dead land, and I think they're favored from here. I'm just going to F6 to save time because this, as I said this might be a grindy one, like a grindy game against Doomsday. You haven't played against Michael Reed Doomsday. The guy grinds like none other. He is an extremely accomplished Doomsday pilot. And the difference between playing against an accomplished Doomsday pilot and a Doomsday pilot who doesn't know what they're doing is night and day. Like, Doomsday is definitely one of the premier decks in the format if you have the reps. So I'm not going to F6 through this because I do want them to think I have some interaction. All right, let's see what we draw here. Another Tameo would be great. That's not great. I'm going to play it out. The reason I'm going to play it out is I'll need it eventually, and there might be some turn where, I don't know. Actually, I can't think of a good reason to play it out. It does invalidate their dazes that they're probably drawing. That Ponder's good for them. We do have 2 Bowmasters in our deck, which will be great if we can find them. We do have Murktide, which is probably unanswerable. Thoughtseizes. I'm glad I held some cards in my hand. They might be just doing that because they have the coast clear. Okay, there's their Tameo. Yeah, we need to kill that. Good news is they've already used most of their cantrips. They're down to 1 card. We do have to get rid of Tameo now. Murktide. That walls Tameo quite nicely. I think they only have 1 card in their hand. I'm going to go ahead and play Actually, no, I'm going to make it full size. We'll play to win. Let's do 1, 2, 3. Wait, no. 3, 4, 5. I'm going to keep Force of Will and Shield Reduced in the graveyard just in case. Should be an 8/8 unless I screwed up. Okay, cool. They're dead in 2 attacks. They can't attack here. They can attack afterward. Murktide. Thank you for showing up. Do they have the Borrower? I don't even think they play Borrower. I'm not sure what they do to beat this other than play their own Murktide. I don't think they kamikaze her. That would be reckless, but they could try to find like a brainstorm or something off this. Okay, that's 1 card. Do they have the second? All right. It looks like she's going down. All right, and it's clear skies. Nethergoyf is a pretty solid pickup too, just additional pressure. Now they have to get rid of 2 things. If I play this out, they know that I don't have anything on the table, but I think I do want to play it out. It's also worth noting that if they somehow get rid of this, I have enough types now that, actually I don't quite have enough types, but yeah, this is probably another fatal push. That's fine. We got it. 3-0. Beat the master of Doomsday. I mean, I'm not saying he's the greatest Doomsday player on earth. There's this European guy that routinely wins. Yeah, but great games. I said, okay, I wanted to thank him for the games, but it doesn't look like I'm going to get a chance. So we'll just go to round 4. Yeah, we've only dropped 1 game the entire night. We're running hot. And it looks like we got paired quickly too, so we're lucky with our pairing. JLitty, I believe this person is a famous player. I think I've heard their name before. You know, Yes. On Reanimator. Please don't be straight up Reanimator. Okay, good. At least it's like the rescam and not just like straight Reanimator. I do not like playing like black red Reanimator type decks. Okay. Good luck. Have fun. Let's take a look at their list. So it looks like a very stock list. 3 Dazes, 3 Wastelands, and then they're just playing like good cards, but they're also playing Atraxa and Archon. Yeah, Emperor Bones is very strong. Aggressive card. In terms of Reanimation Suite, they just have the 7. So we're going to be looking for a hand that has... On the draw, I don't think this is defensible. Thoughtseize is a great card, but like they could definitely... like I would have to fetch a duel. I'm going to mulligan this. They're mulliganing. This is much better. So I think we probably put Bowmasters on the bottom. They don't play main deck Bowmasters, and Bowmasters is best against Bowmasters. So I'm going to put back Bowmasters, and I'm going to hope to resolve a Psychic Frog, and I'm going to hope that they do the end-step thing so we can potentially daze it. Oh. Is this a trap? I think it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this out, and then they won't know when I'm on, because a lot of decks don't play this, and they probably won't expect to daze. But I will most definitely daze if they entomb, and then I'll die. Because they'll have a daze or a force. And oh, wow, that's a pleasant surprise. Okay, so next turn we can Tamiyo plus flip. We can even get a Surveillant and step if they don't play a Wasteland. Did they just blind surveil that into their graveyard? I didn't even notice. I was like, oh, okay, they surveilled. But gosh, this is like the second time this week that's happened to me where somebody has just blind surveilled into the freaking yard on Atraxa. Okay, so the good news is I'm going to have blue mana, pay for days if they daze back. That is just crazy lucky. 52 cards, 2 hits, and they find 1. Okay, so we stopped it. Do we just let this mana burn off? I think we do. I'm not going to let them get to my head and make me start making like terrible plays. Okay, and now we know they don't have... we don't know they don't have days, but hopefully they don't have it. All right, and just like that, I feel like we're kind of back in the game. We stopped their initial volley. And now we have a permanent on the table that stops them from, just destroying us. Yeah, that's a good card. That's fine. Yeah. I mean, I shouldn't complain too much about luck. I've been extremely lucky, but like 2 in 52 is just ridiculous luck. It's like 1 in 26 times will you actually find a fatty, and they did it. So on their ponder, they did shuffle. Okay. So I think right here, we just hope that they don't have a second Wasteland. Yeah, I'm gonna hope that they don't have a second Wasteland. I mean, we're due to draw a land sooner or later. We're not due anything, but they don't have like serious pressure on the table, and I do want to get a Tamiyo out. I don't want to brainstorm on main phase. That's a serious sign of weakness. Okay, they do have the second Wasteland. Yep. So we're just gonna be chilling, stacking clues until we can find it. They don't seem to have a frog, which is nice. Force is a great pickup. It is disconcerting that we can't daze, though, or that they could daze our force. If we eventually get the mana, we have 2 really good threats. So I'll definitely be pitching probably the Murktide if we have to force something. All right, so they are drawing lands, which we are not drawing. They only play 3 Wastelands, so we got unlucky there too. All right, another clue on the stack. Hopefully, eventually, we'll be able to use these. They can just take their time and sculpt like a really safe hand. A Brazen Borrower on our now Spellbomb. If they get a Psychic Frog, they can just instant speed, drop things into the graveyard. Yeah, I'll take it. Go and attack. It will be Daze Protection for later, even though it doesn't tap for any colors that are relevant to us. Had I been able to brainstorm at some point, we would be in a pretty good position. Because we would have ticked up and they wouldn't have had anything that likely could interact. They might have had like a Fatal Push, but I think if they have Fatal Push, there's no way they're just letting us do this repeatedly. All right. I think I'm going to start with this. Just get one more clue. Now, I think the play is get an island. I don't want to get wasted again. I know they only have one more waste in their deck. But we're not casting the Psychic Frog anyway. All right, and they didn't have any interaction. Unfortunately, we didn't draw anything that works. So we're just going to have to hope that Tameo and... Well, I mean, we have Ponder next turn. Cards that can go back. I think Dismember is probably the least powerful here. We can draw it if we need it. And then I can just Ponder next turn. And I will pass. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a lot of reanimation effects in their hand. They may be waiting to draw a Brazen Borrower. But Brazen Borrower, you can put it on the stack and I can just nuke their graveyard. Then they have to put some more stuff in the graveyard. They could have Entomb or something. Reanimate. I mean, this is kind of a trap. It does counter their spell. Yeah, I think they just have to do it. And we have force. We have Daze Protection if they want to Entomb, Reanimate. One option there was to force and then just be able to get force back. The client's chunking again. Okay, so we know we're drawing dead here. It's not dead, but it's not like a land. Now I'm going to attempt to, as soon as my client gives me the ability to do so, I'm going to attempt to Ponder here. I mean, these are good cards, but they're not land. I'm going to shuffle. Please give me a land. Okay, well, it's not the worst. I'll just pass. We are ticking up toward the Tameo Apocalypse. They're going to need a combo and an enabler and a protection spell. They didn't do anything in step. All right, can we draw a land? We did not. I think I'm going to go ahead and brainstorm first, and then I can regrow a Ponder if I need to shuffle this. Holy cow! We're just having the worst luck with land, but I think it's okay. I'm just going to tick her up, and I'm going to defend her to the death. My lady. We do have a daze now. Yeah, I'll just draw half my deck, and there'll be a land in there. This is so bad. So bad. Like, so, yeah, and I guess we just pitched the non-blue card in here. Yeah, it's embarrassing. I still haven't cracked a single clue. I wouldn't be surprised if I don't crack a single clue this game. Emperor of Bones is fine. That's going to be dead before the apocalypse or after the apocalypse. So unfortunately, what they're trying to do is put something under Emperor of Bones. Let's read this. What if one or more? Okay. Actually, if we just daze this, they can't do the trick. I think I'm just going to force, though, just to be sure. They're forcing back. I'm going to daze first because they could have a land drop. I think maybe they just let this go. Okay, so if I force, I still have daze in case they have a second force. But I think it's highly likely they put something in and they... I want my lands in play. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this way. And I don't have a single creature in my graveyard for them to target. So there are no creatures in graveyards here. I am playing kind of slow, so they may just make me play it out. So what I'll do is I'll draw my deck, and then I'll just play a Psychic Frog, and I'll be ready to make that Psychic Frog huge. And I'll hopefully have some forces to go with it. Okay, what are they doing? Another one? What is this? Reanimate? No. I'm trying to think of what they could have here. Troll is fine. Oh, no. Yeah, they can freaking play the troll out and they can attack her. Yeah, this sucks. Had I dazed instead of forced, it wouldn't have mattered, actually. So they're going to do the troll trick. They're going to attack her. Yeah, this is bad. I can't stifle or anything, so yeah. This is going to hit her for 5. They did go to Hellbent to stop her. I believe the top card of my deck is a... so she's going down to 3, but she's still alive. I believe the top card of my deck is a Brainstorm, or I'm sorry, a Fatal Push. So if I can Brainstorm into something, I can kill this, and then I'll be in a pretty decent position. But we know that at least one of the top cards is a bad card. Okay, we found it. So I'll just put this back, and then this back. Now I'll play this out, and I'm just going to go ahead and push here. And I have days in case they have, like, I don't know what they would have. And now I'm just going to plus, and I'm going to pass. We're back into a holding pattern, and next turn we've got Frog. But, like, they have 6 mana. I mean, they could just cast a Troll. Yeah, that's fine. They have 2 cards in their hand after they finish brainstorming. Emperor of Bones is a super cool card. I wish I could fit it in this deck, but I can understand why people aren't playing it. Like, there's just so many other good cards. Okay, they're shuffling. Reanimate on Emperor of Bones is not the worst. They didn't shuffle. That's scary. This is probably a Psychic Frog. We have a Fatal Push off the top, though. That's fine. I mean, that does kind of suck, but I am still crimped on mana, but I do have 2 Fatal Pushes, which is nice. So options. 1, I could just play out the Tameo. 2, I think I play out the Psychic Frog. I think it's totally possible that they have a Fatal Push, but I'm going to do my best. And they do have the ability to deploy this, but I do also have the ability to kill it with Fatal Push. I can crack a clue and push it. Let's see, what is this? Their own Psychic Frog. That's fine. I'm going to kill it, and then I'm going to attack in and start drawing. And I should be able to win, but this is a very long game. Yeah, drawing Fatal Pushes at this point in the game, very good. But keep in mind, they have tons of reanimation effects. We are far from out of the woods. Land, please. Now Spell Bomb, even better. I will definitely take a Now Spell Bomb at this point. And I think it's fine if I don't really want to eat Tameo into a daze. I'm just going to chill. But that was definitely like a welcome top deck here. Okay, they're going to play this in. I don't care about that. I can kill it next turn if I need to. It cracking me doesn't matter. It can't block Psychic Frog. I would love to like daze a troll or something. That's fine. Again, I'm not out of the woods. They still have a powerful creature in their library. Okay, Ponder is good. I think I'm going to go ahead and start by attacking just to see what happens here. I probably could have pondered for like something. I can definitely crack a clue and draw my 3rd card. Or actually, oh, that's great. That's what I was looking for. I think I'm going to play this out, and I'm going to go ahead and flip her. I'm going to go ahead and kill this first, just because I want to make sure that it can't attack me. I think this is an any order shuffle. The land would be nice, but yeah. Oh, that's a good pickup. Okay, this flips. I'm worried about going to time here, because they've been very good at like eating up my clock, and this is still game 1. And my client is super laggy. Okay, they conceded. Great. They didn't make me play it out, but I did have probably inevitability there. Winning game 1 against them feels great. That's why you put the that's why you put these awesome Now Spell Bombs in your deck. So they don't have. Oh, they do have 2 Bowmasters. So I'm going to take out this artifact here. I just don't think it's the Bobble's great here. Engineered Explosives destroys all non-land permanents, I believe. Non-land. So not super good against them. They're not even playing the Planeswalker. They're not even playing Tameo. Surgical Extraction comes in for sure. And Hearst comes in. I think that might be it. Shieldred's Edict, I think, is good. Cards that can come out. We're not going to really be wasting them. Wasteland's pretty bad against them. And as such, on the draw, Daze is pretty bad against them. So I think I just take those 2 out. Yeah, and I think we're good to go. You could argue that taking a Wasteland out is loose and unnecessary. I think every other card in our deck is really good, though. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Because, like, I don't even really care about Wasteland. Like, I'm never going to be wasting them. It just is fruitless. They've got, they said not really on their play. It seemed strong to me. This is a reluctant keep because we can Undercity Sewer into Spellbomb. I'm going to mulligan. Plus Archon. The turn. Okay, cool. They're telling me some insight. I think we mulligan this. I don't want to keep a one-lander against their deck. This feels better. I think we keep and we put back Murktide. I am like super naked to the combo, but Murktide's good against them. Assuming they can't get the Archon into play. Let's see if they surveil a fatty into the yard again. Okay, thank goodness. All right, we're getting a lot of lands here. We don't have interaction, and I'm not going to pretend we have interaction. I'm just going to hope to set up a better... Whoa, my goodness. Land Ho. I think there was like a Magic player called Land D Ho. So I was like, man, that's the coolest name. That's like the ultimate like name that somebody would have if they were a One Piece character. Land D Ho. Yeah, this is... yeah, look at my terrible hand and then kill me, please. Put me out of my misery. They're going to take a Ponder, which feeds my Murktide. There's no way they take the Murktide here. All right, and apparently they don't have anything going on, or they have instep, something, you know. That's a very good pickup. I think we just hold. I don't want to like. If we get into a force fight, I want to pitch my Ponder. They may think the coast is clear, but no, my top deck. Glorious top deck. So counter the enabler, something that puts cards in the yard. This is Psychic Frog, I'm going to counter it. Emperor of Bones is kind of annoying because it can start churning through my library, but I'm not going to force it. Okay, so they're going to get one of my cards. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, it's a problematic card for me in this situation. Okay, good. This is where Discipline pays off. Let's brainstorm. All right, Fatal Push is great. I think I just push it and pass. I don't care about this basic. Yeah, I'm just going to do it like that. I'm going to put the lands back. Yeah, I'm just going to play on non-basics. They're not that wasteland heavy of a deck. I'll do this now. Minimize the likelihood that they have interaction, and I'll pass. 13 minutes on the clock. I will scoop very aggressively if they just do something broken here. All right, and we don't need to crack this because we already cracked. I kind of feel like we hold that. Let's see if this Ponder gets us. Oof. Nethergoyf's not bad. I think we play it out and we draw the Borrowers. Okay. I mean, we're only one card away from using the Murktide, but I think it's fine to hold the Murktide in case of emergency. It's a 3/4, but it'll grow. I like having some sort of pressure against them. Some semblance of a game plan. Also, Nethergoyf's existence means that we can potentially have, if they get Archon going. Okay, so this is a Brazen Borrower, which I do like. I want to take it. I'm going to go to combat. Brazen Borrower is a pitch to force. We probably don't need the other one. That's fine. I can bring it back. I want to bring it back now. I think I'm just going to Murktide here. I will be amazed if they have an answer to Murktide. And I'll just do it like that. I definitely could have like paid more mana there, but I just want to make sure I have, double days protection up. And in a pinch, I can always Borrower, but I don't think that would be wise because they almost certainly have a, here's their Borrower. So if we force the Borrower, that stops them from casting it later. They could just untap and combo, but I feel like this is okay. If they just untap and combo, we can combo them back. I need to stop them before they can play out the Troll. Actually, Troll is not the worst if they do pay it out because I can win the race. Yeah, they're playing the Troll. And I can just bounce this back to hand. And yeah, they have one card in hand. I'm not going to risk that being days because that would be really bad if I lost the race because of that. All right, so I'm just going to attack. Boom. All right, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and just waste one of their lands. And I'm going to do this now in case they're able to somehow draw a land here. So they won't be able to recast it immediately. Yeah. All right, we'll see what happens here. Murktide has been an absolute unit. I can see why everybody's playing him. Ponder for a land so they can recast him. Oh, they're just cycling him. Yeah, I mean, they can still win for sure if they have the combo. All right. So now we should be able to start flashing in borrowers. I'm very happy to pick up that force. End step, I will attempt to bring in my borrower just as a second game piece. Even if it is, it's not the end of the world. Okay, we won. We're 4-0. We've only lost one game the whole day. Is this what I've been missing? Is Murktide plus Nethergoyf, this counterintuitive pairing? Is this the dark art that unlocks us actually doing well for once? Okay, so look at that. One loss to Karnforge. Let's see how we do in this final one. Or maybe it's just me being up late, loopy, drinking my water. I don't drink alcohol. I encourage you to not drink alcohol. It's terrible for you, regardless of what the fake paid-for scientific studies say. Just drink water, and I feel hydrated, and I feel fresh. All right, we're back for the final round, the trophy round, against Rootslay, who's been playing this World Gorger Dragon combo. Basically just Reanimate. So it's a straight combo deck. We do have main deck, Graveyard Hate. In fact, we drew some, and we have a Force. This is about as good a hand as you get. Oh, they said, be excellent, party on. Party on, dude. All right. Volk into Delver. Oh, they may be on Delver. Okay, well, I also am on Delver, essentially. I'm on the 2024 version of Delver. All right. Yeah, I definitely don't remember this being in their deck, so maybe they changed it up. All right, so I think we go get Island Tameo. Yeah, I'm just going to go Island Tameo here. And then if they don't flip it, we're good. I don't want to risk fetching. If they daze, we can just daze back. We're not in a big hurry. Yeah, if they daze, I do think I daze back here. Tameo is potentially pretty good against them. It's a card draw engine. Yeah, and we've got extra dazes in our hand, and we don't have land drops. So I think next turn I just go ahead and play out the second. All right, do they flip? Probably like a third chance. Yeah, no flip. That's great. All right, here is the bolt. I'm not going to save her. She goes in the yard. She feeds the Nethergoyf when Nethergoyf arrives. I'll take the 1. All right. Land, please. No. No dice. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just drop this Spell Bomb to be mana efficient. And I have Daze up if I need it. Force is definitely something I'd ideally like to shuffle back into my deck if they're Delver. And they're looking very Delver-y. All right. Do they flip? They do. So we've got a clock on our hands. They're going to have a clock on their hands as soon as we find a black source. They haven't wasted, so this could be one of those situations where it was correct to... Okay, now I'm gonna definitely waste their Volk. All right, actually, I think I'm gonna brainstorm, because if I can find a black source, I do want to get this Delver out of play. Oh no, not like this. Well, we do have Brazen Borrower next turn. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll just put this back, and then I'll put this back. Okay, so options. 1, we could go ahead and waste this and just shut them off a lot of their deck. I think that's correct. And then next turn we have Brazen Borrower to bounce it. Yeah, I'm down with that. And then we just need to be mindful of the fact that they could have Murktide. Yeah, because we don't have anything we need to resolve for the next turn cycle. We have Force and Daze to potentially get this through. Okay, it worked. All right, they did have a follow-up land. We are taking 3. Even when we borrow this, they are going to get a chance to just redeploy it. And who knows, they could have 2 dazes. If they daze, I'll probably have to Force because I just don't want to take more damage. I'm going to wait for should I wait for combat, or is it better to wait now? I'm gonna do it during their upkeep. That way, if they interact, they're interacting with mana that we're going to use for other stuff, hopefully. This is where a second daze would be brutal, but I will chase that dragon. All right, force for a force. Respect. Okay, so this is bouncing back to hand. If they fetch here, I am going to go ahead and wipe their graveyard. I don't want them Murktiding here. That's a great way for me to lose. It sucks to go down a card like this because I would love to recoup it. But I don't want them to Murktide. That's definitely a way I could lose very quickly. Okay, that resolves. They got the island. Interesting. They are... Oh, well, I guess it's not that interesting because I have a wasteland on the table. All right, can I find a freaking swamp or a fetch, please? Did I know that was there? I think I'll wait and hit a colored source. I'm just going to be patient. It sucks, but like they may be able to hit me again. They haven't cantripped or anything, so they are flipping blind. Red Elemental Blast, that's good to know about. Where we're going, we don't need Red Elemental Blast. We just need a freaking swamp. If I'd fetched the Underground Sea, again, it's result-oriented thinking. It was correct to fetch the island there. 100%. All right, this is getting dire. Not like this. Oh, no. Yeah, so we're going to take 3. They do have bolts in their deck. I mean, we're like super duper dead if they connect. I mean, like them dropping us to 5 is pretty bad, but we're like super duper ultra dead. And none of the the Wasteland decision was not a bad decision by any means. Thought Scour. Yeah, that's fine. I'm pretty sure they're playing Murktide if they're playing that. And they have another island, so I won't be wasting them ever. All right, this is it. We either draw a swamp or we die. Oh, we did it. All right. I'm not going to waste any time here. I'm just going to go ahead and minimize the likelihood that they have interaction, and I'm going to get a swamp. And I'm going to push. Then I will slowly start to deploy my threads. And yes, had I got an Underground Sea, I could have deployed the Brazen Borrower. I'm aware of this, but I don't think it's worth it. They can drop a Murktide right now. Prismatic Vista, so they're on a more basic heavy. Here's the Murktide. It's small. No? What are they doing it? Okay, what are they doing here? True name Nemesis. My goodness. I don't believe I can beat this. I don't think there's a single card in my deck that beats this. Wait. No, it's in my sideboard. Yeah, I do have Shield Resedic. I'll bring that in. All right. That was a beating. And that was a beating that, you know, we've got a responsible mana base. We could, some decks, like they play 3 Wasteland and so they get an extra fetch in. That does increase the likelihood. Okay, so this is very good in this matchup, this Hearse, because we need to keep their yard clear. Engineered Explosives, not really worth it. Shield Resedic. Oh, Toxic Deluge. That's a good card. That can kill. That can sweep. Okay, Hydroblast. We did see red, so I think these come in. Let's talk about cards that are not good. Force of Will. Bye-bye. I think that's it. Like, everything else is pretty... arguably like worth playing. Thoughtseize, not good. I want to take Thoughtseize out. We don't want to damage ourselves. They're not a combo deck. Their deck is like incredibly consistent. Like everything does basically the same thing. Yeah, keeping our dazes in. I think that's right. All right. Let's hope for a better game 2. We at least get to be on the play against Dover, which is a good position to be in. We had an insane hand had they been on Reanimator like they usually are. Yeah. So, yes, I'd like to play first. This hand is pretty nutty, I think. I think we're going to keep it, and I'm just not going to fetch basics. No, if I don't fetch basics, they had a basic... I mean, they saw... There's no way that they brought in the Harbinger. That would be totally mad lad. I think I do want to go ahead and just fetch Island first, and then I can fetch the Underground Sea later. Because they could Blood Moon me, and that would suck. Okay, so let's go ahead and... I'm just going to get some forward momentum with my cantrip here. Boom. Ponder. Try to line up a basic swamp. We got there. I don't need this land. I'll take this next turn. I'll take the days now. Yeah, True Name Nemesis, very cool card that I was not expecting to see. So I'm almost certain they have DRC in their deck, and I'll look forward to blasting that rather than dazing here. That's fine. I can actually Bowmaster that with Daze Protection. That's really good for me. Yeah, this is like basically the highest value play you can get with Bowmasters is Bowmastering a Delver before it can flip. We are going to be doing this now. Just to... I mean, I could wait and see what they flip. No, you can't do that actually because it's all part of the same resolution. That's a very good... This is why you want to be on the play against Delver as opposed to on the draw. It's like a completely different game. Now their cantrips are going to hurt them. Their Thought Scours and stuff. All right. So we just had to dodge like a giant Murktide, but we have Murktides of our own that we can potentially deploy. Yeah, I'll play this out. And now I can attack with both of these. If they kill the Bowmasters, it's already a 2-for-1. I think it's okay to go ahead and ponder here. I'd like to find a Nethergoyf. There it is. And a second Daze. I'll take the Daze too. So I'll take the Nethergoyf now. Nethergoyf's a 2-3. It dies to Bolt. But it doesn't really die to Bolt. I'm just going to hold up double Daze. I'll play my Nethergoyf next turn. I understand that that may strike you all as like super duper passive, but I don't want to die to a Murktide. Okay. I'm going to waste the heck out of any non-basics they fetch. Oh no. Well, this is actually like really kind of like aligns with my theory of Delver, which is you really do want to play 2-color and not 3-color. Please play it. Just play it. I've got so many answers to it. No? All right. That's disciplined. Yeah, I'll just chill. I'm going to draw my Nethergoyf. I'm going to go ahead and start by attacking. I'm trying to think if they have like a Snapcaster or something. Like what could they have? Well, Snapcaster wouldn't be good here. They could just have a ton of cantrips in their hand. Do I want to play out this Wasteland? I don't think I do. I'm trying to think of a series of spells they could have in their hand where I am punished by not playing that out. I'm going to probably get a Surveil Land just to try to get another type into my graveyard to do a little more damage here. Wasteland is fine. Every land in my deck now is... Well, actually, I can just cleanly answer this. And then I can Daze if they Daze. I don't have to double Daze this. No, because that's going to kill my freaking Bowmasters. So I do have to double Daze this. Yeah, I think just in case they do have double Daze, I think I can't get the Surveil Land here. So I'm going to do it like this. Now we got 2 mana floating. So they're extra not getting even spell... Well, they can't spell Pierce of Will. They could force here. If they force... Oh, they just concede. Great. I think what happened is they had a lot of cantrips in hand. All right, on the play, Daze does lose a little bit of equity, but it's still pretty good. But they're not playing any... They're playing around my Wasteland so masterfully. Yeah, I feel like I probably do need to bring some of these Wills back in. I mean, who knows? They might be like playing 3 or 4 of those things. I mean, we had it covered, but barely. We would have lost our... let's say hypothetically we do need to cast the Toxic Deluge. They suddenly like unlocked like all the cantrips in their hand, and we also, it wouldn't be good. I definitely don't want to have to cast Toxic Deluge while Bowmasters are on the table. I think Daze is pretty bad. I think I'm just going to take out my Dazes completely. I know that sounds weird, but like my vibe here is like they do have must counter spells. Like Murktide can often be a must counter, and they're playing very slowly. That might just be a function of me doing what I did with the Bowmasters locking down their hand. But if they're going to play slowly and try to go toe-to-toe with us on card quality, then we definitely want Force of Will in. All right, and I've died so many times with Force of Will with cards in my hand against Delver. All right, this is it. This is the trophy game. That is a pretty good hand. 3 lands. I like it. Toxic Deluge is not necessary because we have Shield's Edict, which is much less risky. So I'll put that back. And we're going to tick up toward a Murktide We can bait removal with Tameo in case they have Pyroblast. I do want to get basics here. I am definitely getting a vibe that they have some sort of non-basic hate. They're fetching around Stifle. I mean, the fact that they're playing Prismatic Ending, like a lot of people are not content to merely play basics so they can get like good mana. A lot of people really want to like screw their opponent as well. They could be playing Stifle. We haven't seen Stifle. Yeah, I think what we do here is we just chill. We can fetch the Surveillion if we want to. I don't want Tameo to get dazed. I'm not sure that fetching a Surveillion is correct, but it does potentially get us closer to Murktide region if it's like a Force of Will or something. Chart a course. Okay. So Bowmasters is really good against their deck. Are they playing Tameo? That would make sense if you were playing Tameo. Chart a course is pretty good. Yeah, I'm just gonna chill. I don't want to. Now I'm gonna deploy Tameo, and I will keep my non-basics close to my chest for now. All right, Tameo coming in. Let's pass. It is super late. It's 11, which is my bedtime. Past 11. So if I make some catastrophic punt, I'm going to blame it on sleepiness and not on my inferior piloting skills here. Quick reminder that if you see me make a punt that I don't call out, a few seconds later when I'm slapping my head, realizing that I'm punting, like, please do leave a comment about it. The other day I lost a match, not just a game, but a match because my opponent had Painter Grindstone and I had Force of Will and a land in my hand and they named blue, and I just totally forgot that I could pitch my land to my Force of Will. Oh no, is this the freaking thing? Oh, they're Murktiding? Yeah, that's fine. I've got that covered. They are going to need to have a Force of Will, and I've got it covered twice. Okay. So I think the correct thing to do here is go ahead and just attempt to edict it first. Yeah. I'm going to edict first, and yes, so my thinking is, I have time. I'll explain my thinking. So they do have time to blast her before she can create a clue now. If I attack first, they may get confused. But I'm not going to attack her. I don't want to lose her. Okay, wow, that worked. That's great. And we have Brazen Borrower for the next one, which there will always be a next one because they're playing Thought Scour. They're definitely playing 4 of them. All right. I think it actually is good to flip her here. Wait, no, we haven't drawn any cards yet. We're not going to flip her. We're going to wait. Yeah, because I want to be able to fetch Swamp here. Wow, so many basics. Maybe this is like a budget deck? Unfortunately, I don't have an answer for that. Oh, I know. I can potentially regrow with Tameo if they go after me instead of going after her. Yeah, we do have an answer in the deck. I'm kind of almost like thinking that I should go and get the Surveillion to get us closer, but I think that's a trap. I'm just going to be chill. I got a giant Murktide that'll be here soon. I got a Psychic Frog that they'll have to like contend with. Yeah, I think next turn I probably do just deploy Psychic Frog. Land would be great. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and attack first. She's going to take the edge off True Name Nemesis here if she successfully flips. I'm going to attempt to brainstorm here. Okay, we did it. Hydroblast is a good card. It's like a bullet to hit their bullet. Murktide is still a few turns away. I think we put Murktide back. And we can put a Ponder back. And then I'm going to play out a Psychic Frog here. So I'm going to first plus. I'm going to play this out. Now I've got Daze Protected Psychic Frog. And they may very well have Red Blast, but they're going to need a Red Blast and a Daze. And we got some clue tokens we can crack. I think we're going to try to keep this True Name busy. If True Name doesn't go after Tameo, I'll just bring up back Shield's Edict and I'll edict it away. Okay, they are attacking her. That's fine. I think they fixed it to where it doesn't constantly put the Tameo thing on the stack. Because they made an update, and now I didn't see like Tameo triggers going off like crazy. Holy Batman. This is bad. Okay. Well, yeah, things are getting real very quickly. We need to find our, whatever it's called. So the best way to dig, I believe, is we go ahead and attack with Frog in the air. I'm going to go ahead and plus this because I'm definitely doing that. I've got 12 minutes. I'm going to slow down and like focus. Frog can beat. Oh, we have Murktide on top. Murktide could potentially race if we just cantrip to it. Okay, I go get a swamp and I bring out a Murktide that's fairly fat. But if I do that, I can't attack with Psychic Frog. The other option is to just ponder again. But I don't think... Well, I do want to connect with Psychic Frog. I think it's too important to get Murktide on the table, though. I'm going to ponder one more time just to put food in there. And then if I can find a land... I didn't find a land. I think I shuffle this as much as it pains me to do so. Because if I find a land, then I have... Okay, great. Now I have somewhat protected Murktide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are going to be able to kill Tameo this turn, but they're going to do so at a high cost. Okay, so they did force that. Nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. I'm going to fetch. Just going to get a Surveil land. Fill up my yard a little bit. That was my opportunity to get the swamp in case they have Blood Moon. So note that I chose not to do that, even though I could have. Okay, now I'm going to go to exile 3 cards from my graveyard. I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3. We'll keep the artifact in there because it's hard to replace. Okay, now I'm going to attack. Yeah, Tameo is definitely down this turn. We are getting a card. We do have the clues. They're down to 2 cards. I'm not going to start piling cards into Tameo yet, or into Psychic Frog yet, because they do probably play Red Elemental Blast, and they could probably blast it right now if they wanted to. These are both going to Tameo, I presume. All right. This is the turn. If they blast, we're in serious trouble. If they don't have Red Elemental Blast, I feel like we're going to dodge a big bullet, and we can probably come in for a lot of damage. Nethergoyf super small. Please don't try to course. Okay, they get to draw 2 cards. They can find Blast. They're probably going to hit my Surveil land, so I don't Surveil again if they're going to do anything. Okay, great. Did not do anything there. At any point, if we find Toxic Deluge, we're okay. I think, sadly, I just had to flash this in just to do additional damage. Is that right? No, I'm not going to do that. What am I thinking? I'm just going to draw. If I can find the Toxic Deluge, we're in business. Okay. One thing I can do is deploy Tameo and then just attack and then flipper and draw their fire again, which I think is fine. I mean, it's 1 mana to basically like invalidate their offense. Oh wait, this is still upkeep. I haven't even drawn my card yet. Yeah, let's see what I draw first. Okay, Borrower is another card that I don't really need. I'm going to play out Tameo. I think I just attack here. Nethergoyf is a 3/4, so it does kind of race. I have to keep Hydroblast mana up, though, because I'm deathly afraid that they're going to have, whatchamacallit, Pyroblast. Chart of Course is a really good card when you have True Name Nemesis on the table. Okay, another Nethergoyf. What is this? Another Borrower? A Braid? Well, if we just let this happen, we take 6. I don't want to let this happen. All right, 1 for 1. We're up on cards. Okay. All right, she flips. We're going to plus her. I'm going to go ahead and drop the GOYF. First of many, and we are going to try to out-tempo them. They have to attack Tameo. If they don't attack her, they're crazy. A Blood Moon would still be really bad if they can do that. Because I didn't fetch my Black Source because I was greedy and I want to put it a card. I wanted to put a card in my graveyard. There's a Red Source. This is probably Pyroblast. I can't do anything about that. That is bad news. Okay, so Tameo is going down, and then we're just attacking for 4 with Nethergoyf. And then they can turtle up if they want to. But it's... Oh, yeah, so these are going off. I guess I don't know why I didn't see them earlier. Okay, so neglect my comment about, like, MTGO somehow fundamentally changing. All right, so Tameo's down. 1 mana fog effect. This is a Murktide. If it's a Murktide, I'm going to be scared. I do have a borrower. I've actually got 2 borrowers. I mean, I might be able to thread this needle. Yep, that's a big Murktide. It's an 8/8. They're going to be disappointed to see me bounce it to their hand, but that is what I'm going to do here. No wasteland target. I'm just going to start by doing this. They're going to be able to redeploy it next turn. Okay, the client is spinning. This is terrifying. I need to win this round so I can get the trophy. Come on, client. You see that like little spinner over there? Okay, it worked. They don't have any interaction. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and attack. And I'm going to have flying 3/3s. So I do want to play out this wasteland because I need the mana, frankly. It's a question of whether I want to play out the Nethergoyf. They can just hold 1 back and wall these. I think I play out Nethergoyf, and then I can also potentially borrow their thing back to hand instead, but I'll probably just draw with the clue, and then I'll start deploying these. So if they can somehow turbo that out a 3rd time, then I'll be in trouble. So they are attacking me for 6, dropping me to 11. I'm currently winning this race. What is this? Chart of course. Okay, they're getting some extra cards. I can draw cards too. They do have Murktide up. They may have Force for my Brazen Borrower, which would be GG probably. I think I boarded out my dazes. I'm going to go ahead and draw though. Yep, that's fine. So this does represent double. Well, not double, actually. Okay, so they have no graveyard. Let's see what we draw. That's not helpful. I'm going to bounce this. I think... I have land in my graveyard? I've got everything in my graveyard except for sorcery, I believe. I'm going to play this out just because I need to be able to cast these borrowers around days, just in case that's one of the cards left in their hand. They're going to 3. I think it makes sense to go ahead and cast it now, where it's harder for them to interact with it. And then next turn I can cast another one, and I should be able to get in before they kill me unless there's something dramatic they can do. This is a fight. Can they stop it? All right. Another a braid maybe? Yeah, that makes sense. Because now they can hold back. They have to hold back both. Yeah, so now we can deploy this one, and let's see what we draw here. Force, which can be hard cast, I like. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So, yeah, I think what we do is we chill for a turn, and if they don't do anything, we can force something they do if absolutely necessary, or we can flash this in. But I'm not miscounting. Like, we're gonna need 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're putting that back on top. Doing this during their main phase. That's fine. Do they have a way to draw it? They could potentially brainstorm for it. I'm just going to go ahead and do this now. And if they counter it, or they would have to draw it and somehow put it on top. What? They're just pyroblasting it? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, we're like... Gosh, this is like so intense. Another force. So we can force the next 2 things that they do. We can force them around double days if we play this out. I think this is fine. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and hit this. It may seem weird, but just to like reduce the likelihood of them being able to hardcast force me back, we're just going to play the waiting game. They're at 3 life. Oh my goodness. I can't help but wonder if maybe I screwed that up, because if I waited a turn, then no, it wouldn't have mattered because they were going to draw a braid. A braid is their draw for turn, I believe. Lightning bolt me? I'm just going to force it. I think this is okay. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is this a trap? So they could have like a ponder into Murktide potentially, and I wouldn't have force up for Murktide. If I take this, I'm going to take it. Now they know I have Hardcast Force in my hand, though. If they drop another True Name, I'll definitely have to counter that. This is a freaking ball game. My goodness. This is another Nemesis, isn't it? Oh, it's just that? Yeah. Well, I'm going to counter that. And I'm glad that I did not flinch. Do you have a force blue card as your last 2 cards? You do. Holy freaking cow. What am I going to possibly draw to get out of this? Oh my goodness. I've already used my Brazen Borrowers. I think I've already used and exiled my Shielder's Edict. A giant Murktide on my side of the table could do it. Ponder. A second Ponder is better than a blind shuffle here. Actually, I think we brainstorm into... Oh, I know what the line is. Okay, so let's say hypothetically, so we can brainstorm, we draw all these cards, then we ponder. Yeah. And then we still have enough mana. We just need 3 mana to cast the spell if we can find it. So let's go ahead and draw here. We're going to draw 1 unknown. Spellbomb doesn't help. We can put this back. We can put this back. How many lands do we have in our deck? We still have a fetchable Underground Sea, I believe. Let me double check that. We have a swamp we can fetch. Now I'm going to play this out. I'm going to fetch. My life total does not matter. All that matters is that I get these off the table. All right, Underground Sea. Now I will ponder. So freaking close. Yeah, we have to shuffle this. That Bowmaster would do it, but we would need a second Bowmaster. We have to find it now. Hydroblast doesn't do it. Good games. Yeah, those were some intense games. Great games. Rod Slay, thank you for giving me plenty of time to think through my lines there. Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to have won the trophy, but I'm happy that I just had a really intense, good game against a deck I haven't played before. I mean, this is a deck that, theorized, a lot of people probably are theory crafting, oh, if you can just thought scour yourself, you can have really big Murktides, or True Name's really good right now. I don't actually believe True Name's great right now, but it's not terrible, and it has to be pyroblasted on the stack. Yeah, I mean, with Tameo and stuff, I don't think True Name is good, but my opponent did get me there. Let's see if we draw a card, if we can draw to, I don't think it's going to let us get to it. Yeah. So, I think what this came down to was we never had an opportunity to return. I'm going to watch this again. I would love for you all to pick this apart and see if there was some opportunity I had to win if I misplayed somewhere. I don't think I can't think of anything I did to misplay. Yeah, I mean, if you're unfamiliar, this has protection from everything. So I was just completely walled off from attacking. And, yeah, literally their last card had to be Force Blue card. So it came down to every single card. And if I'd found Toxic Deluge, I could have deluged for 1 and attack with both. They only would have been available to block 1. If I had somehow brainstormed into double Bowmasters, which is unlikely, I only played two Bowmasters, I could have won that way, right? There were lots of things I could have potentially done here. Or found, but I think all those shuffles were disciplined. So let's take a look at the list. So this list is basically me swallowing my pride and saying, okay, I will play Murktide in a Nethergoyf deck, even though it feels awkward. Like you saw, there were lots of times where my graveyard was practically empty. But Murktide is undeniably a powerful card, right? It undeniably synergizes with Psychic Frog. Most decks just don't have answers to it. We lost to Murktide there. Any other card, I think we would have been able to probably find some sort of solution, but not Nethergoyf, or not Murktide region, right? So Dismember I think is a really good card against Troll. We've encountered Troll several times tonight. I think 5 main deck removal plus 2 Bowmasters plus 2 Brazen Borrowers, pretty good removal suite, right? I like this deck. It definitely felt more powerful. I'd been getting 3/2s and occasionally like a 4/1. I haven't had a trophy in a long time because I keep running into Eldrazi and getting destroyed by it. Like pretty much they're like always like doing great, and then I was like, okay, now I have to play against Eldrazi, and then they just high roll me. But I think I'm getting better at the matchup a little bit. Maybe I don't know how much better you get at winning the die roll and stuff. But I definitely felt like all those tempo matchups, we could be the aggressor, and Tamiyo felt amazing. This is the first time I've only played 2 in a deck, but every time I drew her, I was like, damn, where do I get me some more Tamiyo? You know, I do think that she's good as a 2-of, like when you want to fit Bowmasters in. I'm trying to think of how many matchups Bowmasters actually would have been relevant. Well, definitely in the final round, it shut down our opponent completely so that they couldn't cantrip. And I think game 2, they just conceded probably with a lot of cantrips. If you think about it, like they're playing 4 Brainstorm, 4 Ponder, probably some number of Thought Scour, and probably some number of Chart a Course. Like Bowmasters, no likey those draws. He's going to hit you when you try to draw. So I think, yeah, this is great. I'm going to play some more leagues with this. I noticed that like whenever I put Nethergoyf on the thumbnail, more people click it. I think people are intrinsically drawn to this card because it is like such a powerful new Delver alternative. I mean, it's just undeniably powerful. Like I don't even know if you noticed, but like my Nethergoyfs were 5/6s, right? And I was just like dirtling around trying to get stuff. They just kind of accidentally, whoops, I'm a 5/6. You know, that's really strong when you can get to that situation. So, yeah, it's a good card. And I think that this is probably the right balance. I mean, I'll just show you real quick what I was looking at. So if you go to MTG Top 8 and you look at Dimir Tempo, which is still, you know, I think the third most played card deck after Reanimator and Eldrazi. It's a good deck. I don't know that it's Reanimator good. Reanimator's 21% of the meta, which is crazy. This is just over the last 2 weeks, by the way. And I think we faced Reanimator at least once, maybe twice. Okay, so we just take like a list. I think I took a look like these lists because this is from like a major tournament, 264. This came in second, right? If you look at their list, the only change I made from their list, they only had 1 Tamiyo, and I think there should be 2. And they were playing Go for the Throat and 2 Thoughtseize, and I changed one of the Thoughtseize to, and here's the third place, right? They're playing Spell Pierce. So there's no consensus. They're playing Dismember. So it's almost kind of like an aggregate of their 2 lists, and that's where I got the 1 Bauble, 2 Spellbomb from. They were both doing that. And yeah, I don't know if that's like the new thing is like they've figured out that you just need like 3 artifacts in your deck to occasionally get a 5/6. But I definitely think Mishra's Bauble sucks, and I would rather not play it, but it is a free artifact to buff. And why do I think it sucks? Well, it sets you up to get hit by Bowmasters, and it also just, you know, gets countered by Vexing Bauble. So it's not the best card, but I definitely stand behind having one of them in the deck. But this mix of Brazen Borrower was always a rock star, just an amazing card. You know, the Murktides. Okay, I'll quit waxing poetic about it, but basically, I just I think 2 Tamiyos, like they had 3, they had 1, and I'm like, I'll average that, and I'll just go down to 1 Thoughtseize. So it's very similar. As far as the sideboard, I actually used a bunch of ticks to get an unlicensed Hearst because I saw both of these lists were playing it. This is from like 3 or 4 days ago. It's pretty recent. Unlicensed Hearst, we didn't ever get it on the table, but it does seem, I can see how it would be very powerful. Just keeping your opponent's graveyard in check. And then Toxic Deluge, both of them were playing it. Despite playing Bowmaster, I would think that those 2 cards would be like not compatible, but apparently there are situations like the situation where I was desperately digging for a Toxic Deluge is my 1 out, where it's not that big a deal if you have to kill 1 or 2 of your creatures if you can get rid of their, you know, true name Nemesis or something like that. And I think everything else was the same. Like one of the players is playing Barrowgoyf, the other's not. I'm fine with that, with not playing it since I don't own any and they're expensive on MTGO. And I think that's it. Interestingly, this player had their second Tamiyo in the sideboard, which makes me think it's totally fine to have 2 main deck, like according to the consensus of this, you know, meat grinder of a tournament, 264 people. And if you look, like the winner was Jeskai Vile Yorian. I'm super proud of this guy, Hunting Jorgensen. Jornerson. I've played against them so many times, and sometimes they beat me with their crazy Vile brews. And it's like, I love Vile and I want it to be good. I'm not sure that it is good, but this player certainly had luck with it. This is definitely the most spicy deck that's, won a major tournament in a while. And this was the showcase challenge. By the way, I did say I was going to create a video if I did okay, and I just basically just got destroyed and dropped very quickly. Max Dortion, I think he like 1-2'd, which was actually better than I did, and he dropped. But he posted his video. He was playing Rescam. I tried to play blue-black with... What did I play? I basically played kind of like this list, but I got destroyed. But yeah, it was a fun... Like, I got to enter it for free because I had a lot of these points. So yeah, I don't have any other feedback on the deck other than I can't wait to play another league with it. It's going to be a blast. And I hope if you are looking for... I really hope this is the viable deck. This is so much more fun to play than a combo deck. And it's so much more fun to play than an aggro deck. You saw all the minute decisions that I had to make throughout the league. And I love making those small decisions, those small optimizations, making sure I stack my ponder right, making sure I get the perfect brainstorm so I can put bad cards away mid-game, making sure that I'm fetching the right lands. Like every little thing, every little decision matters because you're really playing on the margins when you're playing cards like Nethergoyf against cards like, Sowing Mycospawn or, Dragon's Rage Channel are just really powerful cards. We saw against Doomsday, the Michael Reed game, where he had 3 consecutive Cyclic Frogs and we were able to deal with them and win. That was most triumphant. So until next time, I hope you have a fantastic day and be excellent to each other and party on.